Hey guys, I need to take those off. Oh, whatever, I'll just leave it. So today we're doing another update. I wasn't expecting to do it this fast, to be honest. I don't know if my glasses will sit there, but I think they're okay. I wasn't expecting this, but sometimes when things change, you just gotta talk about it. And for me, this past week, I had something pretty major occur. And overall, I'm just in a very different paradigm now than I've been for quite a while. So let's talk about it. So first and foremost, I think what's really important to talk about is the fact that about 4 days ago, my depression kind of broke like a fever. And I actually have a video on my channel where I talk about, I call it the labyrinth. And it's this depression aspect that has hit me every single time I've tried to lose weight, every single type of diet I've done, every single attempt at weight loss has resulted in me reaching this point of the labyrinth. The most significant version of that happened recently was in 2020. And every single time I would go through this sort of mind maze, mental health aspect of weight loss, I would break. I would not be able to get past it. Period. And so this aspect has really been hitting me since about July of last year. There was a lot of changes in my personal life over the past year. I was experiencing a lot of shame and a lot of shyness and a lot of anxiety spells, depression, these types of things. And really for the past year, it was just continually building. So it was building and building and building all the way up till July of this month. You know, I would say it was especially potent from December of last year, and then even more potent when I restarted my deficit in March. And from March to July, you know, March 20th to, I guess, July 21st, it was pretty hellish for me mentally. I'm sure you guys saw I lost my momentum on here. I was really struggling in general for a long time. And it's a very significant battle within weight loss from a very big person's perspective. The effect it has on your mental health is very difficult. I actually saw a fat activist talking about how when they go keto, they feel depressed or they have mental health aspects. That was very true for me. When I was keto, I had those mental health aspects and they would continually get worse and worse and worse. The difference is that in keto, you can quit and you have immediate relief. With this diet, I didn't. Because the serotonin was so strong in my brain, I would feel really nauseous if I overate. So I was stuck. Like, I literally could not eat more to stop losing weight. Like, I just couldn't. Because it was also, I had such a rigid thinking mindset from the serotonin that I could not do the deficit for multiple different reasons. So it forced me to do it. It forced me to get through this depression aspect of weight loss. But I will say, going into late June and July, it was really, really, really bad. I honestly was feeling like I should just give up on everything. I was very, very, very depressed. And I have been, like I said, especially since March and April. It was really a lot physically for me at that time. And there is a part of me that wonders if the car accident had something to do with what was happening to me physically at the time, because my brain was changing so much. I don't know if I just was distracted or, something like that, which is a little weird to admit. But it was very hard, and I think that's why there's such a stigma on weight loss, because I don't think I'm the only person this has ever happened to. I think a lot of people go through this, and realistically, it was a long time. It was a year. And throughout that year, it just built and built and built. And when I got to July this year, it was so bad. I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do YouTube. Like, I was thinking I'd have to start completely over. Like, I lost all my confidence. I was thinking I have to rebuild everything again. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm so shy. I'm so ashamed that I cannot do YouTube as well as I used to. And it was getting to the point where we were working on getting my car fixed, and it wasn't working out very well. And me and my mom were kind of fighting about it, and I started like breaking into panic attacks. I had a severe panic attack, like almost like a hysteric episode. And it was really scary for my family and stuff, and for me. And this wasn't that long ago. This was like a week ago. And at the time, I was scared that panic attack, because I had another one like a couple days after, or like the next day, but it was very light and I was able to like think about things differently and just kind of move past it. But I was very fragile for a few days, and it was just scary, because it's like when I have been losing weight like this, and I have been gradually, like my mental health was gradually getting worse over a year's time, that's really difficult. And I think it is a huge ask for people to do that, especially when you have no idea if it will end, when it will end. It was a year. A year. I mean, that's crazy. Or this, really since I started doing a deficit in August of last year, I started feeling like this. And then this year I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like I said, by March I was doing it. By May I was stuck in it. Like I couldn't stop doing it. Because of those hormonal changes, I was so locked into the deficit that I couldn't not do the deficit. So I just literally was forced to push past it. I don't think a lot of you guys understand what I mean, but it's like if you cannot eat more because you will feel nauseous, then you cannot eat enough to not lose weight. Especially if you have these other things in your mind. Like I was just like, no, I have to do this, blah, blah. Like very, very rigid thinking where it's just so locked in. And it was just really hitting a fever pitch in July where it's like everything is locked in. The rigidity is extremely high. Like it was just so much. But over July, some of my serotonin symptoms started improving. I wasn't really getting serotonin hands anymore. It was really waning. And I was having positional vertigo, where if I turned my neck like this, I would get really dizzy. And that happened to me in 2020 as well, while I was losing weight. Then one night, I was talking to Lisa actually on the phone. Shout out to Lisa. And I just got general vertigo. And then I was really nauseous, and I just had vertigo and nausea for like a few days, and then it just went away. The vertigo is gone. The serotonin hands, like last night, it wanted to, but it didn't. So those type of serotonin things were waning for over the whole month. And I was just like, okay, like, I don't know. So 4 days ago, I go to the gym, and in the middle of my workout, I was doing leg workout. I was doing my ass, and I was doing specifically the extension, I guess, or the curl, I'm sorry, a leg curl. So like my hamstrings and my ass. I was working that part out, and I was in the middle of that, and all of a sudden, like, I was so depressed at the gym, like I was depressed the entire workout. And when I reached that point, which is, for me, it's a minute. It was like almost 2 hours into the workout, because I do full body when I go to the gym. I do my legs, and the depression just breaks like a fever. And it's like this whole thing that I've been going through for the better part of a year just ended instantly. Like a fever breaking. Like, you know when you are sick and you feel so hot and cold, or like you're burning up and you're freezing and you're shivering and you're just feeling this, and then all of a sudden your fever breaks and you just start sweating. That is exactly what it felt like. It's almost as if in that exact moment I had lost enough fat, or I had reached a certain level where my brain just shifted in an instant. And I went home that night and I felt such a relief from the depression. Like I said, I was like, oh gosh, I've lost everything about myself. I've lost all that I've worked for. Like, I was thinking these types of things. Like, I lost my confidence. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. Like, I was starting to think like I might have to try a different type of career. Like, you know, literally, like, I was just really in this mindset. Like, I'm supposed to start a podcast with Lisa pretty soon. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was debating on if I was going to tell her, like, I might need to delay it, or, you know, something, because it's like, I'm not okay. Like, I was not okay. And I knew it was physical. And that was the thing about it too, is like, people don't believe obesity causes depression, and it does. It absolutely does. Like, obesity causes depression and anxiety. Obesity causes most of the things that I feel today, most issues I have, and people don't take it seriously. So I'm sitting there arguing with my family about taking medications and stuff, and I can understand, because from the perspective of a week ago, it's like, I didn't know if this was the beginning of something, if this was me becoming really fragile and really unable to handle anything. But it just cleared up, and then it went from 0 to 100. It's like, after a few days, I feel not depressed at all. 0. And so it's really weird for me for it to just be over like that. But I guess the panic attacks and stuff, it was some kind of hormonal shift that was occurring, and it went away. My bloating started going down. I have lost like 6 pounds, no, not 6. I've lost like 4 pounds in the past week. You know, especially since my depression went away. I just started losing a bunch of water weight, and I started losing weight a lot faster. I'm at 322 right now. And I was stuck at 327 for a very long time, for like weeks. And it's just really bizarre. Like, and I'm trying to just be accepting of that being over, because it's it's hard for me to think it's really done. Like, I wonder if it is going to come back, or, I don't know. But as of now, I don't, it's hard to explain. Like, I was consistently depressed all the time, especially in July. Like, it was constant, and then it's just gone. And it was something, like I said, that had been building for a year within this weight loss journey. And it's like, that's just over. This demon around my neck, this albatross, this thing holding me down, this demonic presence that I've talked about this year of fighting my obesity, it's just gone. And it's like, I am just like, wow. Because I feel like I did a year ago. It's like nothing happened. So, let's get into some other stuff that happened. So, I was getting a little fearful about my blood sugar. Because I have this armpit issue I've talked to you guys about. It has just gotten worse and worse. Okay, like the armpits are on fire, like they're crazy. There's stuff going on. It's oozy, it's gross, it's a whole ass thing. Okay, and it really was starting in February, and by March it was getting itchy, and I talked about it on here. And it has just continued and gotten worse and worse, and it is really bad right now. It's like even worse. So that part, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna probably have to really start doing daily showers. Like, I don't usually shower daily because I feel like it's kind of a lot on the skin and stuff, but I think in the summer and with this pit issue, it's like my sweat is just so acidic. So I was really wondering if I was having some type of diabetes symptoms, and I was nervous. All of a sudden, my mom's insurance company sends her a glucose monitor, which is so fucking random. And I'm able to test my blood glucose at fasted, and it was a little elevated. I would consider myself pre-diabetic. For any of you guys who know, my number was like 114. So not like, definitely not diabetic ketoacidosis levels. I'm not going to die today, but not great. The last time I tested my blood sugar was a long time ago. It was like 2016, and it was about the same. So I was pre-diabetic in 2016 as well. And people were kind of tripping on me a little bit about my stance on sugar and this kind of stuff. And it's like, I have to call a little bit of BS, just because, is it sugar or is it obesity? I think a lot of times people want to blame everything but obesity. And I understand that I've lost a lot of weight. I have. I've lost, 60 pounds of fat, solidly. But I'm still morbidly obese. I still have obesity complications. Everything from the mental health aspects, the armpit issue, the prediabetes, all of this stuff is still obesity related. I'm still morbidly obese. And what I've learned a lot this past week is that people don't take it seriously. They will blame issues on everything but obesity. So for diabetes, they'll say it's the sugar. For mental health stuff, you should take a medication. It runs in our family, right? It's these types of things. For, I don't know about the armpit thing. I think that's pretty straightforward. But it's like, I'm still obese enough that I have complications. And I don't think people understand that. Like, really let that sink in. If you're morbidly obese, you will have complications. I'm not 20 years old anymore. There are certain things that I have to deal with by losing weight. It's not going to get better unless if I lose the weight. I did tell my grandma about my prediabetes, and she was like, it's better that you are not diabetic. And she said, you'll probably be fine because you're on track. Like, you're losing weight and it will probably resolve. And I told her, I agree. Because people, I understand when it comes to sugar and diabetes, the idea of it. I understand how people view it. But there's a much higher correlation of morbid obesity and diabetes. Because if I personally were to cut out all sugar, I would basically be keto. I don't eat bread. I don't have potatoes. I don't eat starches. Not really, like I do occasionally. Like I'll have these crackers that are made with tapioca flour. But I don't have a lot of carb sources. So for me, the sugar that I have in yogurt or the sugar that I have if I'm in a pinch and I have fruit snacks or something because they're lower in calories and they're easy. I think people oftentimes get caught up in ideal scenarios of weight loss. They get caught up in all this stuff when in reality, it is about, firstly, we'll say avoiding seed oils, period. Period. Secondly, we'll say it's about being in a caloric deficit. I'm never going to lose weight if I'm not in caloric deficit. If I have to have sugar to stay within a caloric deficit, I will. Because at the end of the day, is it the sugar or is it the fat? It's the fat. I'm never going to be healthy at this size. Health at every size does not exist. It never will. So I'm glad I'm not diabetic. Because if I was, I would probably have to be on medication. I would definitely have to think about a different way of eating probably in that case. But I'm not. So I'm going to wait and watch and keep monitoring it as time goes on. And I will keep you guys posted. I have a baseline now. I don't know how it used to be earlier, but I would guess it wasn't good. Earlier. I was trying to grab my glasses that don't exist. But that's really what I've experienced, is the idea that people don't want to accept obesity causes health problems. They want to blame your behavior. They want to blame this type of stuff. I'm in a caloric deficit. I exercise. I do have to do fasts because if I eat all my calories, then I'm not eating anymore for the rest of the day. And at the end of the day, I've still successfully lost a lot of weight this year, and from a morbidly obese place, which is a lot more than a lot of people have done. I have put cynical dudes 30 pounds to shame. I've put Tim Pool's 30 pounds to shame. I've lost twice as much. I've lost over 30 pounds this year. I've lost over 30 pounds since March. I have to just keep going. And I think people, they have idealistic versions of losing weight in their head. But I think that those idealistic visions of weight loss are actually what prevent a huge amount of people from losing weight. Because the truth is, perfection is impossible. And there has to be compromises. There has to be things that you do to get it done. And when you're as big as I am, or when you're morbidly obese, deadly obese, if you can get to a deficit and sustain it, then that's what it will take. I would greatly suggest not having seed oils because in my case, it has made something previously impossible possible, as I was forced to stay on my diet, on my deficit. It wasn't a choice. It was guardrails in my mind. That depression was horrible, but it also was guardrails on my mind. Because the rigidity, the depressive feelings, they did not allow me to stray from the deficit, which a fat activist would consider that probably an ED. But I consider it life-saving. So I know it's a lot, but with that, I have one more point to this video. For the past 2 years and change, my main focus has been my hypo. And I have reached a point where it's no longer severe. I'm no longer dying of hypo. And I'm having a bit of a crisis of focus because now it's not about having one goal anymore. For the past 2 years, this was my one goal, was getting my hypo under control, fighting my hypo, getting out of it, fighting the obesity, getting to a point of survival. And I think now it's time to look towards thriving rather than surviving. So I'm going to be thinking about changing my work and stuff. And I'm thinking I do want to transition to something else than what I've been doing. Because what I've been doing, it's been very specific. It's very gig economy type of stuff. And it was something I could do as a metronome. And I was so not mentally stable that having that metronome effect every day, doing the same thing every single day, especially in 2021, to another extent in 2022, this year not as much, but especially those 2 years, it saved me from going totally batshit. But now I'm better, and I think now that metronome is not okay, so I need to change what I do for work. And I am going to try my damnedest to do YouTube because I love it. So I think the point I'm making at this point is I've reached a point in my journey where it's not just about survival anymore. Now it's about dealing with emotional issues I have, spiritual hang-ups I have. I have to work on financial things and work. I want to launch a new career, right? It's like I want to do all these things that I have had to put off for so many years because I was so ill and I couldn't find an answer. And I did. And so it's like, I'm free. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, because for the longest time I was caught in between dying because of my obesity and being unable to do things in my life within a weight loss context because of the mental health aspect, and that barrier is gone. And it's unprecedented, absolutely unprecedented in my life. So it's like, I'm trying to like, okay, you know? I'm trying to let that change and have less of a grip on everything. Like I said, I have to think about things spiritually too. It's very, very weird because I've been so physically minded the past couple years because it was the most important thing, and it's changed, and it's a good change. And I think you guys will like it because I'm going to be doing this more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this one is weird, but I think this moment is probably one of the most pinnacle parts of my journey I've had yet, in a good way. Because I made progress. I'm healthier than I used to be. I got a long way to go. Got a long way to go. We'll keep you posted. But I'll see you guys soon. Bye.